Welcome back. All right, so I would have had this up sooner, but the entertainment guy had to borrow my room. Something about making the internet angry about reactionary content, which seems kind of reactionary. Anyways, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Monday, October the 16th. Talking about goaltending first, so starting with Sergei Bobrovsky in Florida. Florida off to an 0-2 start. Looking to turn things around, and so Bobrovsky's going to get the start tonight. You might as well give him a chance to play through his difficulties through the early part of the year. The second loss was probably more frustrating for Florida than the first, because that first game was flat out stolen from them by Philip Gustafsson. So we'll see how Bobrovsky does tonight for the Panthers. Arizona news, and I'm wearing the purple Space Coyote because I did find through their site. So they had an extra 20% off clearance, and there's a bunch of stuff from the first round of reverse retros. Not this jersey specifically, of course, that sold out quickly, but they had the women's version. Like, sure, I can get a purple Space Coyote so Yvonne and I match. Be silly if we didn't match. But at any rate, so that's why I wore it, just so that I'd let people know, hey, Arizona's got a sale going on. But don't try to ship it into Canada. You have to have that American address. It was $47 to ship it to Canada. It was $6 to get it shipped to my American address. So I'm like, yeah, all right, for $40, that's a significant difference. Plus, then there's all the other potential duties that come with that, too. So at any rate, tonight for the Arizona Coyotes, Ingram's going to be playing, and Vejmelka is set to play tomorrow. Craig Morgan reporting this on the Arizona Coyotes. So, yeah, Ingram and then Vejmelka, it is going to be a 1A, 1B situation with the Arizona Coyotes. They, of course, had the upset victory over the New Jersey Devils in their first game. We'll see how things go against the Rangers and the Islanders, and whether or not the Arizona Coyotes can be considered off to a fast start coming out of this first 3 games of the season. Kirby Dach, so he's still being diagnosed, so we don't know the exact nature of what's going on with Dach, but we can say that he's out indefinitely. It's a lower body injury. So it looks like it's going to be long-term. That's the word anyways with this, and that once it's been fully diagnosed, we may get a better idea of the term, but it is indefinitely, and it is going to be long-term. That's a huge blow to the Montreal Canadiens, and honestly, I'm such a huge fan of Kirby Dach's game. It looked like he was starting really well for this season, and now this injury sidelines him. So hopefully he's not out as long as it looks like he could be. That would be a huge blow to a Montreal team that needs to have everybody in the lineup and everybody healthy to really compete for a playoff spot in the very difficult to compete for a playoff spot Eastern Conference. Stamkos is day-to-day for Tampa. Of course, he didn't play last night against Ottawa. And what a huge difference. A lower body injury for Stamkos, and in watching that game, I thought, is this how it's going to look for Tampa Bay as players get older, as, guys like Stamkos maybe retire or leave or whatever happens? Are we going to see a Tampa Bay Lightning team that all of a sudden is just very kind of ordinary? There were points during that game last night, and again, they don't have Stamkos, they don't have Vasilevsky, but is that where we're headed at some point soon? So for Tampa Bay, they're not going to want Stamkos to be out very long. Clearly a very key forward for them still at this point. And he also needs a contract extension. So we'll see if that gets done anytime soon. Brady Tkachuk equals the Senators' record by getting having a multi-goal game for the second day in a row. So consecutive days. The only other one that did it, Danny Heatley. He did it on December 12th and 13th. I know what you're going to say. But this was the season he had 41 goals in 07-08. He had 50 goals in the previous 2 seasons, 05-06, and yes, famously in 06-07. He only had 41 goals that year. So, he only had 141 goals in 3 years. Heatley was a pretty good goal scorer when he was on. For Tkachuk, he's equaled that record, and we'll see if he continues with what's been a very good start for Brady Tkachuk to the season. Sean Couturier not at practice for the Flyers today, so his status for tomorrow is unknown. We'll find out soon enough. But yeah, Couturier makes a huge difference. We've already seen through the first 2 games of the season for the Flyers. Sean Couturier, he hits, he shoots, he can play defensive hockey, he's a good skater. Everything you want in a defensive forward is there. I would even say if Couturier can stay healthy and play a full season, he's going to be top 5 in Selke. Couturier is a very, very talented player, and getting him and Atkinson back into the lineup does make a difference for the Flyers. So, I know there's a lot of talk about Matthews a lot of the time, so I'm just going to make this quick, and I'm also putting this at the end of the video for that reason. But Matthews right now has a goals per game of .631 in his career. Ovechkin, .610. Now, the one thing I wanted to look at as well is when did they score their 300th goal? Because, of course, when you start talking about Matthews and comparing him to Ovechkin, immediately it's going to be, hey, Ovechkin slowed down because he's older. Well, a little bit. So Matthews gets his 300th goal in his 482nd game. Ovechkin had his 300th goal in his 476th game. So he was 6 games behind Ovechkin, but now he's also scored 5 other goals on top of that. So he's at 305 goals in 483 games. I don't know how many Ovechkin was at 483 games, but it would be similar. So Matthews is in that conversation. And tonight, Matthews is against Bedard. So we've had 7 years of a lot of Matthews discussion. I think especially here in Canada, Matthews is always in the conversation. He's usually in most of the commercials as well. He's in almost as many commercials as the guy with the beard that's in every Canadian commercial. You know who I'm talking about. No, not the Napa Auto Parts guy. The other guy with the beard in Canadian commercials. Bedard against Matthews means there's going to be a lot of attention on this game tonight. And so I would imagine that an American feed will be a lot of Bedard talk, and a Canadian feed will be a lot of Matthews and Bedard talk. And for the National Hockey League, they should be promoting this game to the moon because it's 2 of the bigger stars in the game going up against one another, and also 2 stars of the game going up against one another who are on original 6 teams with large fan bases. So we'll see how things go. We'll see what the ratings look like for the National Hockey League early in the season. I also wanted to say, I've got the Panic Index magnet on the board. It is too early for panic, and yet I'm seeing questions about, is there panic in Edmonton? No. It's 2 games. They haven't played anybody who's not the Vancouver Canucks. I saw a poll today, are the Canucks for real? And of course I voted, it's too early to tell, which most of the fans have voted. There's that 30% of the fan base that say this is for real, and to those fans I say, hey, let's go. You know, I'm all about the hype train. I'm on the too early to tell side of things, but again, I think it's way too early for any discussion of panic in any one market. I think we're looking at 2 weeks into the season. And again, I think once you get to 5-6 games into the season, you could talk about, you know, trends and all of that. It does make it difficult when doing power rankings as well, but it's still enjoyable to do power rankings. So at any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video or just because you feel like it. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.